Hello everyone and welcome to this exciting free course on data visualization using Tableau Public. My name is Sandra Ezike and I'm going to be your instructor today. So in this course, we are going to talk about, as the title says, data visualization using Tableau Public. We are going to show you how you can download Tableau Public to your computer system. Then we are going to download a free data set online and we're going to play around with it to be able to get visualizations. So first of all, what is data visualization? Data visualization is an art of presenting data in a manner that even a non-analyst can understand it. So let's say, for instance, that you work for a business. Your business is to sell, let's say you're selling beer, and then all of a sudden, you don't make as much sales of that particular brand of beer as you used to make before. You will now want to find out what exactly happened. Why am I not making so much money selling this beer as I used to before? Was it as a result of inflation? Is the cost of manufacturing this beer more than the cost that is my production cost more than what I actually make? Should I increase my prices? So all these questions that you have for yourself, you want to understand, you want to explore why your business is not going the way it should. You want to explore what is causing, let's say, decrease in sales. We are just having an assumption. So you have a lot of questions about your business, and this business is not yours in particular. It's, let's say, for the managers, and they will now ask you, okay, for instance, I want to see the last 5 months of sales, what we generated. Are you going to bring them a very big spreadsheet showing I sold 10 cartons of beer to customer A, sold 5 cartons to customer B? No. So what you're going to do is to visualize this information that your manager needs in a way that they are going to understand it. You're going to consolidate this information. Let's say 5 years of sales, you break 5 months of sale, you break it down by the month instead of by customer or by individual sales, so that they'll understand that, oh, okay, we made this amount of money in the first month, but we did not make as much in the second month, so that they will be able to pinpoint what exactly the problem is and be able to make quick decisions. So about the software we are going to use today, it is called Tableau. Tableau offers about 5 main products that cater to diverse visualization needs for professionals. And these products are, we have one called Tableau Desktop. Tableau Desktop is for individual use and is paid version. We have another one called Tableau Server that is used for collaboration for any organization. So when I mean collaboration, I mean that it is hosted online, and each you can you can collaborate with you can collaborate basically with your customers in different places using this Tableau server. We also have the Tableau Online that is also hosted online. It's business intelligence in the cloud. It is also a paid version. Sorry, we have Tableau Reader that lets you read files that you saved in Tableau Desktop. It is a free version. So if you have Tableau Desktop, you don't need to pay for Tableau Reader as well. And there is also Tableau Public, which is used interactively. You can download it to your computer system. You can use it to push your Tableau designs to the cloud. I wouldn't advise you to push information from your business to the cloud. You can always opt out of saving to for public view. So you can save it in such a way that only you or only people that you authorize can view it. So I'm going to show you a demo of this customer of this Tableau Public. What we hope to achieve is to have a dashboard that looks something like this. So first of all, I'm going to show you how you can download the Tableau Public. So I have it for my Mac. I'm going to show you how you can download Tableau Public. Next, I'm going to show you the data set that is absolutely free that we'll use for this demo. And then in the demo, we're going to show you how you can create different sheets and how you can create a dashboard that looks like this, and also how you can you can save your information and publish if you want, or save for private view. So what we are going to do now is to fire up our browser. So we'll fire up our browser. We just go to we just type Tableau Public. So let's just type Tableau public and click enter. So we'll see Tableau public free data visualization software. So it's told to you already that it's free. So next, to download, they ask you to put in your email address. I'll put in my email address here and click on download the app. So once you click on download the app, it would just download it into your computer system. I hope you are seeing this where it is downloading it for me. I'm just going to close this. While it is doing that, I'm going to go to their resources page. So you go here to their resources and you scroll down. So this is where you get your free data sets from. So we are going to go to sample data. All these data sets is absolutely free. You can download it as a CSV or an Excel file, whichever one you want is there for you. So for us today, the one we are going to download is the Titanic passenger list. So I chose this Titanic passenger list because I'm a fan of Titanic the movie, and we want to know different people. Let's say from the description here, they says all the known passengers of the Titanic, where they were heading, what cabin they stayed in, and if they survived or not. So this is the information that we want to visualize today. So you download this data set. So it has Titanic passenger.csv is downloaded. We can also see that our Tableau public has fully downloaded. So I am using a Mac computer system. These steps that I am going to use to install this is exactly the same with your Windows. Just maybe it might be a little different. But Tableau on download recognizes your operating system and downloads the appropriate one for you, so you don't need to worry about that. So it says opening Tableau public. While it's opening that, we also would want to know where our Titanic passenger stores in. So we can do show in Finder. If you are using a Windows operating system, what you do is you right click and do show open location in file. So it is the same thing for us showing Finder, so we can see that it's stored in our downloads, so that when we are bringing it in, it would be easy for us. So we're just waiting now for this Tableau to verify completely so that I will show you how we can install it. I'm not going to complete the installation steps because as you can see here, I already have Tableau in my system, but I want to show you what you would do. So I click on this. It will take a little while to finish booting up. So just double click on that. And then it says introduction. You do continue, blah, blah, blah. Just scroll down here, continue. You agree to the licensing instructions. It says it will take 1.6 gig of my computer. I already have that, so I wouldn't want to do that. But if you want to change your install location, you can change it and put it somewhere else. That is left for you. So it will just be had in the hard disk, then you do continue and then it installs. I'm not going to do this step because I already have it. So once you finish that, you close, then you fire up your Tableau public. When it opens, this is the first view that you're going to get. Let's just wait a little. Okay, so it tells me that I have to update my product, which I haven't done. I would say remind me later because I am not interested in updating it now. So it says connect to a file. So for you to have a to do Tableau public, the first thing you do is to connect your external file source. So for us, remember that the file we downloaded is a .csv, which is classified under text files. So you click on text file. It shows you all text files is .txt, .csv, .tab, and .tsv. The most popular ones is probably this .txt and .csv. So we'll choose our Titanic passenger list.csv and we'll click on open. Once we open it, we already can see what our dataset looks like. We can see here in the number of rows that this dataset has 1000 rows. This is a pretty small dataset because if you're in the field, you get millions of rows. That is why you have different versions of Tableau Tableau that can handle the different sizes of data that you have. But we just want to visualize a little just to show you a demo. So you do that, and then once you see the data set, next thing you do is to go to worksheet. So this is how you create a worksheet. This is your data source. Where we are now is the data source. Where we were before is our connection page. So you click on their logo, the Tableau logo, to go to connection source, and you click back on it to go to your data source. So next thing, now we want to create a new sheet. So we just go to sheet. So it automatically divides our rows and columns into dimensions and measures. So dimensions are not fields or columns that are not calculated. They are seen as text, while measures are number fields. So going back to our data source here, we can see that passenger class is seen as a number. So this number sign is seen as the measure field, and the ABC sign is seen as the dimension field. So it divides your data set into dimensions and measures. So we go back to our sheet 1. So I'm seeing the view here. We have the file where you can click on new, open. You can open from Tableau Public if you are connected to the internet and you have an account with them, and you can close. We can also see that you can bring in a new data source if you want. We can connect here to Tableau server if you have that, but we are not. We don't have a Tableau server account, so we're not going to do that. You can also here we can see that the data that we are connected to is our Titanic passenger list. You can also see your worksheet. You can see your dashboard if you create a dashboard. You can create a new story here. We wouldn't get to the story section. You can create your analysis. You can create forecast, trend lines. This would be if you we'll talk about all this information when we go deeper into Tableau in our Tableau paid course. You can create map, format, window, and help. So this is what your typical your front tab will look like. This tab is the same for Windows and Mac. So we're going to go into the fun stuff of actually having some visualizations using this Tableau Public. So first of all, going back to what we have here, we want to see whether they survived, the number of people that survived and the number of people that did not survive. So if you grab our survived and not survived calculated field here, we can see some of survived. So it just takes your survival as one list. But going back to our data source, we can see that we have survived as 1 and we have survived as 0. So typically 0 denotes true and 1 denotes false. So we can safely assume that 0 denotes people that did not survive because it's true. Let's say 0 denotes people that did not survive and 1 denotes people that survived. We can always switch back and forth. It doesn't really matter. So, but it's seeing it now as a count, as a sum. So if we go here, we can go click on the little drop down button to change this measure from sum to something else. So we can see that we can change it from sum to average, we can change it to median, we can change to count, we can change to count these things. So let us change to count and see what happens. So it shows now count of survived. But this survived, what exactly are you counting the survived of? Are you counting survived based on male or female? What exactly? So we are going to do count of survived based on sex. So we can see now, we can also swap this, move sex up and move counts of survived down. So we can see down that about 466 females survived and 843 did not survive. So this count, another thing that is the problem is, okay, it is 0 and 1, granted. So 0, even if you add 100 zeros, it still shows 0. But if you count 100 once, it is 100, right? So we can safely assume here that this is 1. The count of survived is the count of ones and not the count of zeros. That might be misleading. I'll get back to that. So what we can do, because it is confusing, we don't really know whether it is showing zeros or ones, which one it is counting, which one it's not. We are very confused. What we can do is to change this survived column from a number to a text. And how we can do that is to put it into bins. So bins is a method of I will just say it in layman's language, is a method of you to section out your data. So for instance, you want to put all the zeros in one bin and all the ones in one bin. So to do that, you right click, you do create, and you click on bins. So it will have survived bin. So size of survived bins, we put it as 1. The minimum is 0 and the maximum is 1, because we already have 0 and 1, if you remember correctly. And then we click on OK. So to eliminate this confusion, instead of this count of survived, we can remove this and instead make this the rows survived. So because of this, that we've put these rows survived here, we can safely remove the male and the sex for now, and instead add number of records. We can swap this back, because I always like mine to be vertical and not horizontal. I think I did it the other way around. God. Survived bin goes on top. Perfect. So we can see that 0, people in survived bin 0 are 809, and the people in survived bin 1 is 500. So if we say that the people that survived are denoted 0, then it means that 809 people in total survived. And if the people in 1 did not survive, then it means 500 people survived did not survive. So to also clear up this information, to be very concretely, like we are very sure this is what we mean, or we mean what we say here, we can create aliases for survival bin. So when we see 0, we want the alias. I hope you saw what I did before. So what I did was I did right click and I went down and I clicked on aliases. So 0, we want 0 to mean number of survivors. Number of survivors. I hope this is the spelling. Number of deaths, so that we are very sure that what we mean what we say. So we can see now that it is clearly denoted that the number of survivors is 809 and the number of people that did not survive was 500. If we also want this, because we want this to be an interactive dashboard, we might want to change the color so that your manager can easily say, oh, what is the one in blue? Both of them are in blue, so your manager cannot say something like that. So what we can do is to grab our survivor bin and drop it on top of the color. So you see now that it changes it from light blue to blue. But for people that maybe have bad eyesight like me, the blues might not be very different. So what you can do as well is to click on the color. And click on edit colors. So we see that it's automatic. Let us change the color. So we want to change the color, let's say to traffic lights, and then we do assign and click on OK. And now it is in the traffic lights. It has red and yellow. So number of survivors is red, number of deaths is yellow. We can also maybe change this color to show green if we want. We can edit color and select the number of survivors. We want number of survivors to be green instead, and the number of deaths to be red. So we click on number of deaths and make it red and click on OK. So we can see now that it is clearly that the people that are green means go, green means green is for life. So the number of survivors are green and the number of deaths are red. So this is our very first sheet. We want to keep on doing these sheets and having them so that we can create a dashboard with this. Next, we click on a new sheet. We want now to have, and you see that as I clicked on a new sheet, we still have our survived bin. Okay, so next, let's say we want to have our age, people that died per age. Our age now is a number, but we want to have, instead of have 21, 22, 23, 24, blah, 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 we want to have age by section. So let's say we want to have people that survived from age 0 to age 0 to let's say we just want to have the different number of ages that we have. So we want to have a section from 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, To do that again, we create a bin to do that. So we want our bin to be, our size of bin to be 10. The maximum bin is 80, so we can safely assume that our maximum age in our data set is, let's say, 70 something to 80, but and then the minimum can be 0 or 1, but we'll leave it as this. And then we click OK. So we have an age bin now. So we can grab our age bin. We can see now we have 0, 10, 20, 30, and we can have number of records. So we see a very beautiful bar chart. So we can safely, from a bird's eye view, know that most of our people in our data set are between age 20 to 30 because of our bin size. And we have a lot of people that their ages were not recorded, that is null. So should we eliminate these nulls from our data set? No, because we sometimes you might want to eliminate it, but if your nulls represent a very high number of your data sets, it is not advisable to do so. So as we did before, we can also grab our age bin and drop it in the color, and give our age bin, or change the color, edit colors. I personally like the traffic lights palette, and we can do OK. Oh, sorry, I didn't assign it. So we go back, do traffic lights. Just always remember to clean on assign. Do you want to continue? Yes, it said it has more number than our palette. So we say OK, but it would distribute it in such a way that it wouldn't be so obvious to the side. So you see we have red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, red, yellow, green, and the little one here that we cannot really see. So this is very beautiful. This is very interactive. We go forward. We do add a new sheet. So let's say, for instance, we want to know the the different cabins. So I'll always advise, when you put this, you take a look at the data set. So we can see that the cabins are so much that we wouldn't really want to use cabin for anything. Is not really, unless you maybe want to know the different number of people, how many, the cabin that contain the most number. We can already see that is the null. Some people do not register their cabin. The other information is basically negligible, so we wouldn't want to visualize anything with cabin. To remove it, you just right click and click on remove. Another thing we can maybe want to see is the passenger class. So passenger class, you see that it's one continuous shelf, but we can see from our data source, just by looking at it, that our passengers class, let's see here, and you can also notice that in our data source, as we are adding bins, is increasing our columns in our data source. So we can see that we are looking for passenger class. We have different passenger classes. We can see that we have passenger class 1, we have passenger class 3. So we want to also do it in the same way that we did the survived. So let us put our passenger classes into bins as well for sheet 3. So instead of doing sum, we remove this, and we have our passenger class into a, okay, so let us try something new. Let us try to create a group. So we have group 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we can click on group. So group, the number 1, let us say class 1. So we've created passenger class 1 into a special class. We can also do class 2 here, and we can also group these ones to class 3, and then do okay. Let's see what happens. So we can see our passenger class groups. So we can drop our okay, I didn't rename my passenger class group 3 here. We can do edit group so that we can rename this to class 3, just to be on the safe side. Class 3, and we click on apply. Not really necessary, but okay. So we have now class 1, 2, 3. So we want to see the number of records in each different class. You see, perfectly, it brought out class 1, 2, 3. So we can already know that our class 3 has the highest number of records in it. Another way we can do this is, instead of using this bar chart, we can maybe visualize it in this manner, or we can use this, which is not really descriptive, but we can, instead of this passenger class, we can maybe use people that survived versus those that did not survive. Let's say put in the survived bin as well. Put in the survived bin here. So we have our number of survivors in different passenger classes. So we can see that in our number of records, that's class 3. For class 3 had the highest number of survivors. They have 528 survivors. Passenger class 2 had 158 survivors, and passenger class 1 had 123 survivors. Passenger class 1 had 200 deaths. It had class 2 had 119 deaths, and class 3 had 181 deaths. So with this, we already had stacked our view in a very descriptive manner. We can also use this type of chart, dividing bar chart and pie chart. Apart from that, we can also change it. Let's say there are very different charts that we can use that can make this a very beautiful view. We can use squares, you can choose whatever you want. So we can have this number of deaths versus this. If you want the passenger class to be, so you can do something like this, or you can even have passenger class here and then the survived bin beside it. Okay, so it will now divide it by passenger class 1, passenger class 2, passenger class 3, which is better if you ask me, because we can already tell that we can also change it here. Instead of having passenger group as our color, we can remove this and instead use our survived bin as the color. So you see, we have green for people that survived, red for people that died. So in class 1, we can see we have more number of deaths than number of survivors. So what we are going to do now is to create one more, what do you call it? We're going to create one more worksheet, and then I'm going to show you how you can create your dashboard. So we just click on a new sheet. I took the liberty of renaming all our sheets so that we know which sheet is what. So what we are going to do next is just to create, cancel please. We're just going to drag the M back to the columns and number of records as we have done before to the rows. So what we are going to do now is, instead of this, we are going to do show me. So this show me button shows you the type of visualization available to your data set at that time. So we want to see it as a pie chart. So what we are going to do is, this pie chart is not descriptive enough. So what we can do is to grab the M back and put it as a label. So we see CQS, and then we can also put number of records if we want, and also put it as a label. We can see 2. So this 2, if you remember before, although it was a very, very tiny visualization, if you remember before, when we did it as this, the null had 2 values. So what we can do is to click and exclude this so that it wouldn't show up in our pie chart, and change it back to the pie chart. So go back to Embark, drag it and drop it as a label, and drag the number of records as well and drop it as a label. So this is beautiful. So we have now 4 different sheets. We are going to also rename this. To rename this, you just right click on rename. We want this to be named Embarked. I think this is the spelling of Embarked. I'm not sure, but let's leave it at that. Okay, no, there is no C. So rename that to Embarked. Apply. Okay. So it hasn't renamed my sheet. So let me just rename my sheet again to the right spelling. Okay. So we have now our 4 sheets. What we are going to do next is to create our dashboard, because this dashboard is what you're actually going to take to your manager. So we have our Embarked, we have our survivors per class, we have our age range, and we have our number of survivors. We just go here to dashboard, click new dashboard, and drag out and drop our dashboard to a specific area. So we click our number of survivors first. We can actually remove this. We don't really want it to be the main thing. We'll click our number of survivors per class, which has more sections. Click on our age range and put it at the bottom. So you see how I'm dragging and dropping it, and each one I drag has the the blue check mark. I drag and drop this one. I can go ahead and remove the age bin as it's not really needed at this part. I can remove also this also because we have our number of deaths and number of survivors clearly stated. Another thing I can do is to click on embarked and maybe put it at this section, or delete it and click on embarked. I want it to have a very little section of our data set, not to be so big. Okay, I can actually reorganize this later. Let's do number of survivors to be here. Let's remove this from here and click back on our embarked and put it on the top. Perfect. So this is what I wanted. So I don't want to have this survived bin because I already have it here. It's clearly stated here, so I don't need to have it here anymore. Embarked as well, since I took the liberty of putting the C, Q's, and S's, and then removing the nulls, is also not necessary here. So just click on it and remove it. Number of records as well, if it's not really necessary, so I remove it. I want my dashboard to be as flush and clean as possible. So I can see very clearly my embarked, I can see my number of survivors. All my tables are properly named. I can see my age range bin. I can see my survivors per class. And this makes for a very beautiful dashboard. I don't really need to make any more changes to it. So to save your information, all you need to do is to go to File. So you can either save to Tableau Public, save to Tableau Public obviously, as you cannot really download this worksheet. All you can do is to save it to Tableau Public, and to do that you have to have an account with them. So you see it will pull up for me to put in my email address and password. It's a free account, as they mentioned. Create one now for free. You can just create an account to be able to publish your visualizations there. But if you don't need to, publish your visualizations. What you can do is to do File and export that file as a PowerPoint. So I'm going to name it as let's say I'm going to name it as Titanic visualization, just so that I know what I'm talking about exactly, and click on save. So once this happens, I can go back to my desktop. I can go back to my desktop, and you would see here my Titanic visualization. So I can open it and you see all the tables that I had before. So with this, in this place, you can increase this anyhow you want. Survivors per class. Okay, so I believe this is our dashboard. This is the age range, this is survivors per class, and this is the embarked. For some reason the number of records is still showing here, but it doesn't matter, we can always remove that. Okay, it's just the tab to show the colors, so we can remove that. So as you're in PowerPoint, you can of course what they call it, change your design just to be more beautiful. So just one click took this to a whole nother level. It was not as boring as it was before. So this is where we are going to end for today. Hope you enjoyed this class and hope you really learned a lot from me. I guess I'll see you next time. Have yourself a wonderful day. Bye. Thank you very much for watching, and for more courses like this, please visit us at oresume.com. And if you also liked this content, please give us a like, it helps us. You can also click on the description below to view our collection of courses. Thank you very much, and do have yourself a wonderful day.